She is 100% correct. Oh my goodness. So if you haven't been following, we have Ava Raine, better known as The Rock's daughter, who put out a tweet in response to, I won't call it a tragedy, in response to an event that transpired recently.
Damn.
And the right has lost their minds. They are going in. They're like, hey, she should be fired. This is disgusting. This is horrible. How can she say such things? And I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, she is about to destroy, the Rock's career. That's what she's about to do. Because, The Rock is coming out with the new movie, The Machine, right? The Fighting Machine or something machine. And I'm like, this is bad timing. I'm expecting her to say something that is just filled with vitriol, filled with hatred. Something that's like, yo, Charlie Kirk deserved it. This is what he gets. That's what I'm expecting. So I'm preparing myself to see some true wickedness. I go and look up what she said. And then I come to find out, well, technically, she didn't even say it. She's reposting what someone else said. I'm like, okay, now we have some plausible deniability. We got, a little gray area. But I'm like, even if she didn't say it herself, she's reposting something that may just be absolutely heinous right now. I'm like, not a good look. And I go and read what she reposted. And y'all want to know what she reposted? The post was something along the lines of, if you want people to say kind things when you pass, then you should say kind things when you're alive.
Someone cooked here.
I kid you not. This is what the right wants her to be fired for. This is what the right is livid over. The fact that they have to say kind things. Bro, this just proves that they're filled with hate. This just proves that they are filled with bigotry, just malicious intent. Like, how can you be upset that someone's saying, hey, you reap what you sow? Huh? I find it fascinating that this is what they're screaming about. But this is what the scripture says. This is what I also find a bit hypocritical. Because as I said before, it's always those mofos with the bio of Christ is King in Proverbs 1:6 or Psalms 3:16, all the little Bible verses, and they know nothing about the scripture. So, alas, congregation, shall we go to the scripture and see how this is biblical? Let us go to Proverbs chapter 18, verse 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue.
Damn.
That's correct. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. That's what the Bible that they said that they believe says. So she's in fact said nothing wrong. Now, let's just go and do a recap of whether or not Charlie Kirk has been putting out death or if Charlie Kirk has been putting out life.
We note in our piece that Kirk describes King as, quote, a bad guy. It's true. And Kirk self-described very, very radical view that the country made a mistake when it passed the Civil Rights Act. Also true.
That's interesting. That doesn't sound like life to me. Let's hear, some of his other thoughts.
I can't stand the word empathy, actually. I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage. But
these blacks trying to go rob her, happening all the time in urban America. Prowling blacks go around for fun to go target white people. That's a fact.
Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson, they're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously.
If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
So if you had a daughter and she was 10 and she got raped and she was going to give birth and she would, and she was going to give birth and she was going to live. Would you want her to go through that and carry her baby?
That's awfully graphic.
It's a real life scenario that happens to many people.
The answer is yes, the baby would be delivered.
I want to watch that execution. That'll make my day better. I want to see him on a public block and get him be publicly executed. And I think that would be justice. You think children should have, you should see it? What is the age? At what age should you start to see public executions?
That's also interesting. I think it's a very perverse that you're deciding or questioning when it's appropriate for a child to see a public execution. But let's go a step further. Let's hear about him actually trying to say that Biden should be essentially no longer with us for what he believes is treason. Let's see if this is death or life.
Joe Biden is a bumbling, dementia-filled, Alzheimer's, corrupt tyrant who should honestly be put in prison and or given the death penalty for his crimes against America.
What?
Fascinating behavior, I must say. Fascinating behavior. But the cherry on top of this stupid Sunday, let's hear what Charlie Kirk said about as far as the Second Amendment.
I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights.
I think this same violence has come back to claim one of their own.
Well, I don't know about you, but from what I've seen, it seems that Charlie Kirk has been putting out nothing but death from the power of his tongue. That's what it seems that he has been saying. I believe the scripture also says, and I think we don't need to go to scripture for this one, right? But the scripture also says, you live by the sword, you die by the sword, okay? And death and life are in what? The power of the tongue. And what has he been putting out? What has he been living by? Hatred, bigotry, malice, fear-mongering, race baiting. That's what he was living by, okay? That's what he was living by. So according to the scripture that he professed to believe in, this is, I don't know what to tell you. This shouldn't come as any shock to anyone who knows even a cursory understanding of the scripture. This should not come as a shock to anyone who knows a cursory understanding of what Charlie Kirk has been putting out day after day, year after year after year. Hiring, go so far to hire other individuals to put out more hate.
He's out of line, but he's right.
But I find what is fascinating, y'all want to know what's fascinating? I find it absolutely fascinating that all this vitriol, all this hyper focus has been on people who have either criticized Charlie Kirk or who don't care, right? Are indifferent about what happened, or possibly celebratory in what happened. More focus has been put on them than the person who actually took this man's life. Is that fascinating? Is that interesting? Does that not show you the lack of accountability that they have? This goes to show you not only is it hate-filled, but it's also racist. Because the only reason they're not talking about this individual is because the kid was white. That's the only reason why. They've done everything in their power to deflect from talking about this white kid. And I don't know how. Because in the same day, if I'm not mistaken, of what happened to Charlie Kirk, there was also a school event, we'll say, where it was another white kid. So you can put your head in the sand for only so long. You can act like an ostrich for only so long before you have to deal with what you've created.
Message.
So no, the question should not be, Lucas, what's wrong with you? That should be my question to you. What's wrong with you? Anyone who has been praising Charlie Kirk, that's the question that should be posed to you. What is wrong with you? What happened to you? What led you down a path to follow a man whose whole life was dedicated to promoting and spreading misinformation, hate, and bigotry? What is wrong with you? The fact that we have people praising this man, the fact that we have people lifting him up, doing half mass on the U.S. flag like he was some type of veteran, like he was some type of soldier, like he was some type of good human being. No, he wasn't by any stretch of the imagination. And I want to end with this because I want you to understand the way he perished does not absolve him from the way he lived.
Damn.
The fact that he has a family does not absolve him from the way he lived his life. You do not get to spew venom and hatred and toxin into this country to make it worse, to the detriment of the country. And then upon you no longer being on this planet, now we have to sympathize. Now we have to have mercy. Now we have to have compassion and empathy for someone who was evil and spread evil throughout this country. No, absolutely not. All right. So the question I have is, what is wrong with you? Anyways, guys, that's a video. Let me know what you guys think. Whether or not you believe Lucas, he spread good word, okay? He spread the truth, all right? That's why I don't want him here. He spread the truth. Or if you have believed, what truth? That black people are low IQ? Huh? What is it? That it's a culture problem? What truth did he spread? Besides hate and bigotry? You tell me. What, that we should be afraid of black pilots when we get on the plane? That black women are low IQ, huh? That they're unqualified for the positions that they have, such as Ketanji Brown Jackson of the Supreme Court? What truth did he promote? Now, if you think that's truth, I'm sure you do. Nazis and racists and bigots sure have a very misunderstanding of truth. So I think you're snitching on yourself. But anyways, if you happen to disagree, you know where to find me Thursday through Saturday. Disagreement Day. There'll be a number on screen. You call in, we duke it out. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to like, share, comment. Let me know what you guys think and subscribe and all that fun stuff. Till next time, guys, be amazing.
I can't stand the word empathy. Actually, I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage. But